from the News Channel 5 Network and Out and About newspaper. This is Out and About Today.
Hello, I'm Chuck Long, and welcome to another edition of Out and About Today. We've got a busy show tonight. Summer is just around the corner, and Pam Wheeler will be getting a fitness demonstration from a certified trainer. But up first, we are buzzing about a number of things. The Normal Heart, Matt Bomer, Neil Patrick Harris, Mike Huckabee, and Out and About Nashville's cover boy, Justin Lyles, dual roles as an adult film industry performer. Buzzing this evening, my co-host Brent, Meredith, and Pam Wheeler. A lot to talk about this evening.
There is. You just listed off a lot of things there.
I know. I don't know if I should be here, though, or warming up for my next segment, the fitness.
We can hardly wait for that.
Would not volunteer for.
You got some tights on under there?
I've got to make a change.
Okay.
I got a costume change.
We know what we're wanting to see costume-wise, so we'll see if you can oblige us with that.
Right.
Okay. All right, well, let's just jump right in. I mean, a lot of hot topics, lots to buzz about. The Normal Heart, Larry Kramer's incredible play, after about 20 years of trying to get this made, is finally coming to HBO. So, kind of what's your impression about why it took so long to get this made? I mean, and of course, it's about the early days of AIDS and how no politicians would help out with it, and it was hard to get anything done. Kind of your impressions, Brent?
Well, I think it may be similar to some of the other movies that, like Behind the Candelabra, some of the other films that have sort of a strong gay background or touch on the HIV/AIDS epidemic. It's not something a lot of people want to put their name to, especially. So
just like Dallas Buyers
Yeah,
Club.
exactly.
Didn't that take decades and decades?
Yes,
Yeah.
it did.
Yeah.
Finally getting the right people in the right place to say yes.
Yeah, and talk about the right people in the right place at the right time. We're going to take a little look because there's an amazing cast and crew on this, but here's a little preview of The Normal Heart.
Let's go somewhere far away.
Don't you dare stop for one single second what you're doing.
How are they going to help us if they don't know who we are?
They won't help us now if they do. What happens to people who can't be as strong as you want them to be?
They're going to cancel our health insurance. They're going to put us into camps. They're going to quarantine us.
You can't stop fighting for the ones you love.
You'll understand the meaning of your life.
That's a cast.
It looks good.
It is.
Yeah, and it's already getting a lot of good buzz. But, you know, everybody from Barbra Streisand, she was attached to it for a long time as a producer trying to get it made. And she said they would take it to the studios, and time again, the studios just said, nobody's going to go to the movies to see that, even though it's a Tony Award-winning Broadway play. What do you think it was at this time that was the key to getting it made?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah. How am I supposed to know that, Chuck? You're in the business.
Well, I've got an idea.
Okay.
Ryan Murphy, who, I mean, you could not have a hotter producer. Of course, the producer of Glee and so many, incredible TV series. And I think once he put his name on it, and then Larry Kramer, who can also be somewhat cantankerous, but he was, the playwright, very protective over it. But that Ryan Murphy said that he went out to meet with him, and that Larry Kramer thought, well, you can do this justice. So I think that had a lot to do with it.
So again, right people, right time.
Yeah.
And the fact that you get stars like Julia Roberts attached to it, Taylor Kitsch, big movie star, Matt Bomer. So, I mean, it's incredible cast. Mark Ruffalo. I also thought this was interesting. Mark Ruffalo, people said, well, is there still a stigma, of a straight actor playing, in a gay part and that sort of thing? And he said, it's not even a question. He said, it's about humanity. And he said, and that's what I like to do with the characters that I play. So he said, I was on board the second they offered this.
Well, and on the other hand, it could have been a positive thing that it took so long, because everybody lives an underdog, and more people that wanted to see this movie come out got behind it, supported it, wanted to be in it. So who knows? It could result in a better end product.
And hopefully we won't see projects like this take so long, because there's another batch of Broadway shows right now that have LGBT subject matter that they're already talking about turning into movies, and hopefully it won't take 20 years.
Like what? What ones?
Mothers and Sons with from Cagney and Lacey, Tyne Daly.
Oh, yeah.
It's about a mother who goes to visit her dead son who died from AIDS 20 years ago. She visits his partner 20 years after her son died. So that's one of them.
That seems heart-wrenching.
Yeah. So that's one of the projects they're talking about. Matt Bomer, though, we're talking about him being, one of the stars of The Normal Heart. He's also on the cover of Details.
He is.
He's a good-looking fellow.
Yeah, look at that.
Right there. Now, this is a big deal, too, because, Details normally is appealing more to what they say, is the heterosexual. But we've always had questions about that.
Details is a gateway gay mag.
Exactly.
You all have known that?
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But it's a big thing for, have Matt Bomer right there on the cover, and, it's another step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Right. Sure.
So GQ's the same way. So pretty soon maybe we'll see Matt Bomer on GQ.
Getting an education today, aren't you?
I am. I'm like, hello? Did I just wake up?
But Details especially, that's the one you can sort of tip into without tipping off.
it's exactly like you don't have to wrap it when you order it in the mail.
Exactly.
You know, so you don't have to have a white cover around it. Okay, all right, more to talk about. Okay. You know, one of my favorite subjects is the subject of God and gays and the whole religion versus spirituality, you know, going to hell, that sort of thing.
It's not our first day, we understand.
Thank you. Okay, did you hear what Mike Huckabee recently said?
About not being homophobic, but being on the right side of the Bible?
Yes. Let's take a look at this and then let's talk about it on the backside. So this is Mike Huckabee in action. Take a look and we'll talk on the backside.
I'm not against anybody. I'm really not. I'm not a hater. I'm not homophobic. I honestly don't care what people do personally in their individual lives, but I tell you, the reason when people say, well, why don't you just kind of get on the right side of history? I said, you got to understand, this for me is not about the right side or the wrong side of history. This is the right side of the Bible, and unless God rewrites it, edits it, sends it down with his signature on it, it's not my book to change. Folks, that's why I stand where I stand.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I watched more than that when you sent me the link, and I have so many things to say. First of all, well, I mean, we could argue what Bible is he reading. You know, of course, there's different interpretations. We're on different sides there. Why is he referring to the Bible so much when we're talking politics? Because he goes on to talk about the government and what we should be doing, and they're hand in hand, and I just don't get that. Not everybody in our country is Christian. And so, you know, I go down that path a little bit with him. And then, since I have this fitness institute, I know I'm getting a little bit off here, but I have this fitness segment next segment.
Coming up next,
yeah. Did he gain weight? I just wonder.
I believe so.
Maybe he could join you on that segment.
No,
he did look a little different, I agree.
To me.
Yeah, from what I remember before.
I don't know. That's neither here nor there. What do you think? I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I just, again, like you said, I mean, there's so many things that he said just then that God writing the Bible, the interpretation, how it comes about, and but he qualified at the beginning. I just find that when somebody makes a point to say they're not something and then says something like I support the Bible, that they're really kind of trying to have it both ways, which honestly, how could you say that you don't care, but then you turn around and say you care about this, which you claim says doesn't support it. So it's just kind of a mixed message, I think. I mean, how are you supposed to know where he really stands?
And to try to say I'm not homophobic, I'm not against gays, but then it's like that's how he tries to get off the hook, and then he turns around and says, but the Bible, and again, just as God, quite frankly, God didn't come down here and write the Bible.
Exactly.
It was the inspired word. Man wrote the Bible.
So long ago, it's been told. Right.
And just quite frankly, just as a reminder, Mike Huckabee also last year said, if we're determined to change the definition of marriage to accommodate how people feel and what they wish to do because of their mutual consent, then we should immediately release those incarcerated for practicing polygamy or bigamy, and frankly, let's all make consensual adult behaviors legal, whether prostitution, assisted suicide, or even drinking 16-ounce sodas in New York City. It's just idiotic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, enough time spent on Huckabee. Okay. All right. Let's go to a more pleasant topic. Now, this is something that's really caused a lot of headlines, and great headlines. Hedwig and the Angry Inch. It's never played Broadway. It was off Broadway when it opened with John Cameron Mitchell years ago. But now Neil Patrick Harris is taking on the role of Hedwig, and it's getting great reviews. So this is something that had a transgender and the play and the whole thing, and it's a rough, raw kind of play.
Yeah.
So musical. Are you glad to see this?
Oh, I'm glad to see it. I absolutely love it. I've loved it for as long as for years. I've loved it. I love the music. I love everything about it. I love the pictures that I saw, the preliminary pictures of Neil Patrick Harris in the.
Do we have any pictures?
So we've got some video. If you want to take a look at the video, let's take a look. Take a look at the little clip of him talking about it, and you'll see a little clip of him performing as well right now. Take a look.
This is a crazy, crazy show. Why did you want this to be your Broadway return?
It seems like it's such a left turn from what people have been seeing me do recently. Hedwig is such a complicated role in almost every way, like physically transformative, emotionally damaged, like bizarrely funny, and rock and roll in a way that I've never been.
All right, so I think he looks like he's a great Hedwig.
Yeah, he looks great. I love him too.
Have you heard any of the singing? I'm not sure how it sounds.
Yes, and it's really, really good. So very good. I just heard a little bit of it. It was actually an audio clip, but it sounds great. All right, got to move on to the Loves Equality billboards. This is a big headline in Nashville. This is exciting to know that these are around Nashville, and I think everybody that sees these has an opinion. A lot of the opinions have been great. Some of the opinions have been a little controversial. So kind of what are your thoughts on having these billboards here?
Oh, I think they're fantastic, and I actually was talking with the guy who put this together, Timothy Lee. He founded a clothing company. He actually is from Middle Tennessee. He founded this clothing company, and so you see there, that's their website, and that's some of their line there down below. And then it morphed into the billboards, and he said he wanted to promote the clothing line and do it in some major cities. Nashville was one of them. So they're in several cities throughout the Southeast, and promoting family. There's the one with the two guys kissing. There's one with two lesbians kissing, a family portrait. So just a variety of different topics. But I think it's fantastic that it's right there. It's on the interstate. So either you live here, you're driving through, you can't miss it.
Right.
Flip side of that, some of the people here locally have said maybe it's a little too much to put in someone's face. I don't even know that I would want to see that big of a billboard of a straight couple kissing. So,
but on that note,
yeah.
One thing that was interesting to me, in fact, one of the people who wrote in to Out and About Nashville said, "I'm all for equal rights, but I don't want to see two dudes banging on a billboard. You don't see straight couples doing it. Seems like they're going about it in the wrong way." Much to the contrary, though, the contradiction of that, though, is the fact that you go to billboards in New York City and places like that, and there are extremely sexual, heterosexual ads on billboards, and nobody's saying that's wrong. I mean, that's to me, I'm like, why are people making...
It almost seems like a non sequitur, because you could compare the two, but at the same time, what would be the need to do that?
Right, exactly.
So, I mean,
it's making a statement.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it, I love it.
Yeah, I'm glad that these are here, and I think it's great they're in Nashville.
Yeah, they're here.
All right, we've only got about a minute left.
Buy the clothing. Oh, sorry.
But well, that's okay. But one of the guys in the billboard is also on the cover of Out and About Nashville, Justin Lyles. So he's also involved in some movies in the adult film industry. So from Tribe Bartender to the adult film industry, and he's also on those billboards. Kind of, what's your impression of this?
Well, I think it's interesting cover this month. I mean, they're trying to, I think, show, this guy has got a lot of different background. He's sort of an activist. He's sort of a performer. He's an entertainer, but yet he's also just a normal everyday guy. He's at Tribe. You can go in, you can see him. He's a great bartender. He's got a great personality. It's just showing the different facets of one life. I think is interesting.
But what kind of adult film does he do?
Well,
I mean, like,
how many times are there?
Well, I guess I just think that can be certainly criticized from the other side if they knew he's the one featured in these. You know what I mean? We need to not get that out.
No,
so anybody watching, please don't tell.
Right. Well, and yet, you know what? It would be interesting, but I'd love to we need to get him on the show and ask him his impressions if someone was turned off by the fact that he was doing that, as well as being an advocate, for equality.
Well, and I can't put words in his mouth, but I know a lot of people who are models and actors, and I would assume that he would say it's work. This is my job. This is what I do here. I do this there. It's just work.
That's why I love Buzz About. Great point. Yeah. Great question there. We need to get Justin on the show. We will work on that. Yeah.
After Pride.
So after Pride, exactly. All right, don't go away, because Pam is about to put on the Olivia Newton-John headband and get physical. Let's get physical. Let's go.